Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, Mikel Arteta has given the approval to Arsenal to start talks with Lucas Paqueta and get the deal done if we can agree on a price with FC Lyon. Lyon are asking for around 60 to 65 million euros according to Fabrizio Romano, and the deal could be agreed. We're going to be talking about Yuri Tielemans as per Freddie Paxton, giving us an overall update around the situation and also confirming that Yuri Tielemans high up the list. Arsenal and Leicester City not yet ready to agree on the terms for the player, but we can confirm that Leicester and Arsenal are not very, very far away. We'll also talk about Alexander Zichenko as the alternative to Lisandro Martinez. Although Arsenal are looking at Alex Grimaldo, they are also thinking about Alexander Zichenko. We'll talk about Kyle Walker-Peters, Jack Wilshere coming back at Arsenal. Can you believe I've not talked about this? And of course, Serge Gnabry doesn't want to join Chelsea. What are we waiting for, Arsenal? A player is rejecting our immediate neighbors. We should do something about it. But anyway, hit the like button for me, people. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 53,000 subscribers. And let's get this video to 800 likes. I wanted to say that as well. So let's start off with Lucas Paqueta and what has been written around him in France. A couple of reports there confirming. I hope we can get to see this. A couple of reports there confirming that Mikel Arteta has given the approval for Arsenal to sign Lucas Paqueta. Now, according to UOL Sport, they've said Arsenal appear the main candidates to sign Lyon midfielder Lucas Paqueta, with conversations taking place between both clubs at the moment. Paqueta has already had his name approved by Mikel Arteta and is close to Edu Gaspar as well. Lyon want 60 million euros minimum to consider selling the player. Now, that is according to UOL Sport in France. Now, listen to this, lads. Listen to this. Yes, it is true that Mikel Arteta has given the approval to sign the player, and it's also true that the player is very, very close to Edu, and the representatives are also very close to Edu because of the Brazilian connection. But Freddie Paxton has said that Yuri Tielemans remains the priority and he's high up the list on that central midfield options. The problem is that Arsenal feel Leicester City are overpricing the player at the moment. Yes, it is not a mile away. We are not miles away in terms of our valuation, but Arsenal do not want to be the team that gets the compromise. Now, what I agree with here, in this report, is the fact that Lyon are asking for around 60 to 65 million euros. Actually, according to Romano, they're asking for a minimum of 60 million euros, and the figure should be able to rise. It should be able to increase up to 65 million euros. Now, that is not a problem for me. The quality of Lucas Paqueta, that is not a problem. The problem is this outlet reporting Lyon will consider selling if that amount of money is tabled. It is not true. Lyon have already agreed to sell the player. We are just waiting for a team to arrive in with the bid. The other part of the story that I cannot give confirmation about is whether Arsenal are the favored candidates at the moment. Because in the last 48 hours, yes, we have had a couple of developments on this one. Arsenal coming in, Arsenal talking to the player, Arsenal approving the deal by Mikel Arteta. But it doesn't make us favorites. A couple of other clubs are interested, and there is not a lot of work that Arsenal have done to make us favorites in this deal. We've not agreed personal terms. We've not checked out a couple of things. I think we are at the same level as Spurs, as Newcastle, as Chelsea, as United, as whoever is interested in the deal. We are at the same level. I think saying Arsenal are favorites to sign the player is kind of a way to sell their article. But the moment, yes, we have the seal of approval from Mikel Arteta. Will it happen? Edu loves Brazilians. We've already signed in a few under his reign. will Lucas Paqueta be the other player? What happens to Yuri Tillemans? According to Freddie Paxton, he says Tillemans still have high up there. However, Arsenal need to agree a deal with Leicester City. Arsenal feel they are being overpriced. We feel we are being it's not called exhausted, but exploited. Right? Leicester are trying to overexploit us. But let me tell you my thinking here, lads. I don't think Leicester are exploiting Arsenal. £30 million in a player that is going to be, part of your rebuild, a player that is going to be so influential in that midfield. £30 million, even when the contract is running down, even when he only has 12 months on his contract. I don't think Arsenal are being exploited here. But also in the market, it works in both ways. You can say you're being exploited in order to exploit. So I think Arsenal here are trying to press Leicester as much as they can on the wall. The Lucas Paqueta deal, I love to believe whatever is happening. The talks are underway abruptly. Now Arsenal have given their seal of approval abruptly, and all this information could be true. But there is a reason as to why Yuri Tillemans is not being targeted by any other club. There is a reason as to why Yuri Tillemans is not in talks with any other club. Because, listen, although we have another full month and a half to the closure of the transfer window, Yuri Tillemans is not that quality of a player that you think would lack suitors. He's not the quality of a player that you think would lack teams interested. The moment I think about that, I just feel all the talks from Jacob Benz are 100% true. The player is sold on a move to Arsenal. If Tillemans pushes for a deal, right? If Tillemans pushes for a deal, it happens. If Arsenal bid for the player, we take in the right bid because we took in 23 million, and that was turned down. But if we take in the right bid, around £30 million, we get the player. So, in my opinion, Arsenal will move around the market. We will explore all options, but in the end, we will sign Yuri Tillemans. And I'm gonna say this: if Arsenal sign Yuri Tillemans in August, it will be a shambles. It will be an absolute shambles because we want to begin the season with him. We should start the season with him. It's gonna get more complicated than we want it to be. But anyway, Lucas Paqueta talks on. The seal of approval from Mikel Arteta has been given to sign the player. Yuri Tillemans high on the list. Options are being explored, according to Freddie Paxton. At the moment, nothing agreed on both ends. Now, moving on to Freddie Paxton as well. He has said Alexander Zichenko is one very strong alternative to Lisandro Martinez. He says Lisandro Martinez, at the moment, the deal looks like it is going to be, shielding or tilting. Not shielding, but tilting the way of Manchester United. And Arsenal are 100% in search for an alternative. We've talked about Alejandro Grimaldo, one of the few players that Arsenal are looking at as alternatives, or one of the many actually. And now Alexander Zichenko's name is back on the radar. Now, to be true to you lads, I want to sign as many players from Manchester City as I can, because the system we're trying to cut and paste is Manchester City's system. So if we can get Alexander Zichenko, Gabriel Jesus, Riyad Mahrez, and that's why I wanted Raheem Sterling over Rafinha, because there in Raheem Sterling, you're bringing in a player who has been, taught the doctrines of that system. You understand that you're bringing in a player who 100% knows what it means to play total football, what it means to play a 4-3-3, what it means to be a wide forward in positional play. He understands that, and I'm so envious of Chelsea that they sign him. Look, I understand. Look, he's gonna have the game time and everything, but for 45 million, get him, and also get in Gabriel Jesus and getting Alexander Zichenko become Manchester City FC, no one would care. So Alexander Zichenko is being explored as an alternative to Lisandro Martinez. Now, I understand the deal could cost Arsenal around 30 million euros. That is what I understand. And is a player who is going to be able to be sold by Manchester City the moment they sign Marc Cucurella. So, deal, I think it's a good deal. I don't know what you think, but I think it's a good deal for us, no? Alexander Zichenko is around 26, 27, if I'm not mistaken. Player in his prime, can provide a lot of cover, can play in a couple of positions, including including the midfield and left back. Brings in that winning mentality together with Gabriel Jesus, and also I think that quality that we lose when Kieran Tierney goes away, especially in the final third, we don't lose it when we have Alexander Zichenko. We don't. He's very, very aggressive and smart going forward. So Arsenal looking at him as an alternative. I mean, talk to me about him, guys. Now, Kyle Walker-Peters is the other player. The story was broken by David Ornstein, and now reports are saying that if Southampton cannot agree a deal with Kyle Walker-Peters, then Arsenal will swoop in to sign the player. The situation, like I reported in the last 24 hours, is that Southampton want to give him a 3-year deal until 2025. Kyle Walker-Peters is resisting the deal. It looks like Southampton do not want to force him to stay against his will. They will cash in on the player, and they've already started looking at a couple of alternatives. You know, I want to believe that Kyle Walker-Peters is not wanted by Arsenal, but it comes in from David Ornstein, a very reliable source, and it comes in at a time when Arsenal want a backup to Tomiyasu, but then we also want a player who can facilitate that transition, just like Trent Alexander-Arnold does at Liverpool. So when you think about all that, I think Kyle Walker-Peters is a smart target and a very, very good, good deal, given if Arsenal can do it. I mean, if we can do it. Player doesn't want to stay. Arsenal interested. We're not the only club interested, actually. We are not the only club interested. I think a couple of other clubs are also interested in the player. But anyway, we wait to see what happens. Gnabry has told Chelsea he's not willing to join them. Chelsea have already started exploring the possibility and situation around the player with his contract at Bayern Munich, but he's told them he will not be willing to join them this summer given his time at Arsenal Football Club. That degree of loyalty is amazing. For a player like Gnabry, who you think is not even an Arsenal legend, he's not, trust me. But that degree of loyalty, you've got to admire, want to admire about, isn't it? I think Arsenal, to replicate that, try to make a deal happen. Try to talk to him. You never know. He might even take a pay cut, or he might suppress his wage demands. Probably come back to Arsenal. You never know. Now, lastly, Jack Wilshere. This one, I'll do a video about it. How many videos have I said I'll do a video about them? Martin Odegaard's captaincy, Jack Wilshere, Thomas Partey. I will do a video about them. Don't worry. So, Jack Wilshere is is Arsenal's new under-18 manager. He's back at the team, and now when you look at that hierarchy, Arteta is manager senior team. Pamet Saka is manager under 23s, and Jack Wilshere is manager under 18. He's back there. Look, I hope that talent can turn into a manager. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. But we will talk about his career. It hurts. It absolutely hurts me. But I don't want to speak a lot. That's it. That's the update right about now. See you in the evening update later.